to another episode of the Cold Bananas Show. I'm John Hanson.
I am Michael Unger.
And in this episode, we're going to preview some of the hot July movie releases. And just because I want to talk about it also, we're going to start with Ant-Man and the Wasp, which hits theaters on July 6th. I'll let you get your words in first on this one, Michael.
I'm interested in this as a palate cleanser for Infinity War, which was a bit rough to get through. It took me a little while emotionally to get myself reoriented. So it'll be nice to have this one, which is sort of looks like it's going to be lighthearted and fun, which was what the first one was. The first one, it wasn't a great movie, but it didn't need to be. It needed to be fun. And Marvel movies are great at knowing what they need to be, and then being exactly that. I like the chemistry of Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly, and I absolutely love Michael Pena. And so, for all those reasons, I'm into it. Also, personally, I was on set for this movie when it was filming for 2 different sequences that they were shooting in Savannah. So, for that reason, I'm going to be going opening night and watching like a hawk just to see. It's like, was that the scene where did I watch them film? So that sort of adds this different level of anticipation to it that's sort of weird to have going into it, but it definitely plays a part.
Mm-hmm. So what's your anticipation level for it?
I would say solid 8 out of 10.
Okay. And, the last time we did this, I hadn't seen any MCU movies. And part of it was because I thought it was kind of an old boys club with mostly male characters. And you said, no, there's some good female characters. And you're right, there is a reasonable amount of diversity in these films. But what's notable about Ant-Man and the Wasp, an interesting trivia answer is it's the first movie to have a female character in the title, even though this is the 20th movie. Now, there had been a couple TV series with female leads, but they're getting better at the diversity here. Evangeline Lilly's character, I'm interested to see what they do with her. Also, you mentioned Michael Pena, who's probably the most prominent Hispanic character in the MCU at this point, unless I'm overlooking one.
I don't think you are.
Okay. And they also are seemingly bringing back that "Wasp" joke from the early aughts.
Yeah.
Did you see that in the preview?
I've not seen that yet, but...
But this is the kind of stupid but smart humor that is somehow in my wheelhouse. I think I'm going to end up liking this movie a lot, and so I give it a 9 out of 10 on my Go Bananas anticipation scale. All right, we're going to double back now and look at a movie that opens a couple days before Ant-Man and the Wasp. On July 4th, we get the first Purge, which is, of course, the 4th Purge movie.
Yes, and this prequel goes back and shows kind of how the Purge got started. I'm interested to see it because the first 3, each of them got better. The first one was mediocre, the third one was actually good, so that portends well for this, and maybe by the 10th one we'll be dealing with the Citizen Kane of Purge movies. But there are themes that the movie really likes to hit hard. Each of these movies likes to hit hard, which is that poor people and minorities are treated as second-class citizens in this country, and the government either doesn't seem to care or actively encourages it in their way. It's a pretty heady message for a series of horror films, but it's one that gets carried off with sort of better results each time they go through it. This one, of course, it goes back to the very beginning and shows how all this craziness got started, which is good because something that my friends and I love to do when it comes to these movies is point out all of the plot holes in them. So, like, if murder is legal on the Purge and you decide that you're going to blow up an orphanage, but you have to wrap the foundations of the orphanage to blow it up for days before the Purge, can you be charged because you did that if the explosion happened on the Purge? Like, why is it just murder? Why aren't there rampant bank robberies every Purge? Why are we not seeing that? Why isn't there ever like a good Purge heist movie that's come out yet or something like that? What they say that all emergency services are suspended during the Purge. How long does it take to clean up after a Purge? What are America's hospitals like after the Purge? Do people flee to other countries during the Purge? The world building fan in me is always just like, oh, well, they answer it this time, and hopefully they will do a little bit. I mean, I always end up like not regretting seeing these, but I'm never really gigantically, hugely excited for them, so I'd say this is probably a 6 out of 10.
All right, maybe the USA TV series will delve into some of the logistics of how the Purge works.
Yeah, they've got 10 episodes there, so hopefully.
Okay. All right. Speaking of franchises that riff on other movies, looking at the previews for Skyscraper, which comes out July 13th, you can't help but think of Die Hard, right?
Yeah, Die Hard, Towering Inferno, like this just looks like it was sort of factory-made, assembly line. This is product. This feels like product more than a movie. It's like, okay, The Rock. Okay, what has The Rock not looked like a badass doing? And somebody's like, has he fought a wolf? No, okay, well, yes, earlier this year, The Rock fought a wolf, so we gotta find something else. Cars? Tanks? Yeah, that's all taken care of. Okay, has he been in Egypt? Jesus, that was the start of his career. Let's get creative here, people. What hasn't he done? Has he climbed a building? Got it. We got our movie right now. The Rock climbs a building. Okay, why is he climbing the building? Nev Campbell's in there? Okay, yes, he's climbing a building to save Nev Campbell. Wait, Nev Campbell hasn't been big since Scream. Why would he want to save her? Maybe she's got his kids? Okay, yes, he's rescuing his kids and Nev Campbell. We got it. And so, I mean, it just looks so factory-made, so assembly line. I mean, I really don't have much else to say about it except to sort of dog on how insanely stupid it looks, and then lament the fact that because I have deep-seated problems when it comes to impulse control and seeing movies, I lament the fact that I will be there seeing this opening weekend. So, I mean, I'll give it a 4 out of 10, looking forward to it, but, I mean, yeah, I'll be there, but why? And I just hope The Rock gets back to making more solid movies. Rampage was mediocre at best. I just hope he gets back to doing some good stuff, because he's a charming dude, and I don't want his career to go anywhere.
Yeah, he makes everything he's in better, but yeah, I agree. This one looks very generic, unfortunately. Next up, on July 20th, speaking of really good actors, Denzel Washington, Equalizer 2.
Yeah. Now, the first one, I'm not going to lie, Denzel Washington sort of plays himself pretty much in almost everything he does, which means that I'm not a huge fan of Denzel Washington. I think he's good. I've seen a lot of his movies and didn't have a problem with him, but I don't really regularly get really excited, and I got dragged to the first Equalizer. I didn't want to see it, and ended up liking it. Not loving it, but liking it. So, for that reason, I'm kind of have my curiosity piqued for Equalizer 2. That said, I don't really know that the world was screaming out for this sequel. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this will make $150 million, and I'll just need to shut up. But I mean, the trailer just looks very mediocre. I have sort of the same vibe about this movie that I did about the first one before I got dragged to it. So who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's another competent, well-made, decently entertaining action flick. But I mean, it just definitely does look like sort of a run of the mill, paint by numbers movie. So I would say I'm gonna go with 3, 3 out of 10 on this.
Okay, fair enough. And running a close second to Ant-Man and the Wasp as the biggest franchise picture of July is Mission Impossible Fallout, which hits theaters July 27th.
Yes, and I'm definitely looking forward to this one more than the previous ones that we've had, the previous 2 entries that we've had on this list here. It's got Daniel Bruhl as the bad guy. I'm a big fan of Daniel Bruhl. It's letting audiences finally see the reason for Henry Cavill's jacked up, cartoony CGI face. In Justice League, if you're ever wondering why it looked like Superman's lower face looked like a bad PS2 game, in Justice League, it's because of his massive, luxuriant facial hair in this one.
Okay.
But plus Henry Cavill himself is cool. The rest of it just looks like a Mission Impossible movie, which, I mean, the first one I hated. The second one was even worse somehow. Then the third one was good, the fourth one was unbelievable, and the fifth one was very good again. So, I mean, the last 3 movies have all been entertaining. I sort of can cut the mediocre advertising for Fallout a little slack. The trailers leave me cold, and they shouldn't. I mean, they're throwing as much cool action at you as they can in these trailers, and it's just like, meh. But at the same time, I've learned my lesson from the previous 3 films, and so for those reasons, plus Daniel Bruhl as a bad guy, plus Henry Cavill being a badass, I would say that I'm at about a 7 anticipation-wise for that, but it's all because of the franchise and not because of anything the advertising has done.
Okay. So July looks like it won't be as good as June, but we shall see.
Yeah.
At least we have another MCU movie to look forward to. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.